students, welcome back to Yggdrasil. My name is Michelle, and today I am going to be talking about dissociative identity disorder versus borderline personality disorder, because they are so often mistaken for each other even in medical contexts, and at the same time can be comorbid with each other. So today we're going to be going over the definition, the main differences, and the main similarities. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're feeling risky, comment below if you can relate to this at all. If there's anything I left out, I would love to know. Thank you so much to each and every one of my members. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Make sure to consider becoming a member. It starts at 99 cents. You get early access to my videos, you get to pick my videos, and many more other perks. Thank you so much for watching this video, as always, and enjoy. People are often misdiagnosed with borderline personality disorder or vice versa when they really have dissociative identity disorder. Why is it so mistaken in the medical field for even medical professionals to differentiate the difference? The main part is the prevalence of dissociative identity disorder versus borderline personality disorder, which is more prevalent. To understand both of the disorders, let's go over the definitions. What is the diagnostic criteria for borderline personality disorder? If you have BPD or borderline, you may experience 5 or more of the following: fear of abandonment, unstable or changing relationships, unstable self-image, struggles with identity or self, impulsive or self-damaging behaviors such as excessive spending, unsafe intercourse, substance abuse, reckless driving, binge eating, unalive behavior, or self-injury, varied or random mood swings, constant feelings of worthlessness or sadness, problems with anger, including frequent loss of temper or physical fights, stress-related paranoia, or loss of contact with reality. This is all according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, published by the American Psychiatric Association. What is dissociative identity disorder? Symptoms of DID, as described in the DSM-5, are an inability to recall large memories of childhood, switches between apparently normal part and more emotional personalities, lack of awareness, switches between apparently normal part and one or more of actual different emotional personalities rather than a persona that is common with BPD. Lack of awareness in recent events, and if they do remember, inability to explain them. For example, not being able to explain how a patient got somewhere or how they acquired a possession. Lost time or frequent memory loss. Flashbacks or sudden return of memories. Feelings of disconnection or detachment from body or thoughts. Hearing voices come from within the mind rather than auditory hallucinations coming from without. Out-of-body experiences. Sometimes changes in handwriting and vocal tones. Physical changes from nearly disabled to highly functioning at times. Mood swings and depression, anxiety, nervousness, panic attacks, or phobias, which is often co-current with CPTSD symptoms. Unexplained sleep disorders such as night terrors, sleepwalking, and insomnia. Headaches that come with switches and unexplained general body pain such as somatic remembrances. If you have a dissociative disorder such as dissociative identity disorder, which is the most rare of all dissociative disorders, inclines medical professionals not to believe in the disorder and just think at times that it's expressive BPD, which a lot of medical professionals disagree with fairly. You might have memory loss or amnesia of certain time periods, events, people, and personal information. While this does happen with borderline, it's not as common. A sense of being detached from yourself and your emotions, a perception of the people and things around you as distorted or unreal, hallucinations, a blurred sense of identity, significant stress or problems in your relationships, work, or other important areas of your life, inability to cope with emotional or professional stress, depersonalization, derealization, and dissociation. Although, as I'm reading this, I'm saying like, wow, a lot of this is also BPD. So what's the difference? Like DID, people with borderline personality personality disorder report experiencing traumatic life events, such as abuse, abandonment, or adversity. This is one of the reasons most people with DID are misdiagnosed with BPD before getting the correct diagnosis. According to the DSM-5, BPD is a pervasive pattern of instability of interpersonal relationships, self-image, and affects a marked impulsivity beginning in early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts. While it is unclear what causes BPD, there seems to be a genetic component, as people who have a close family member are at a higher risk of developing it. The key way that diagnostic professionals can tell the difference between DID and BPD is the presence of at least two distinct and separate personalities within the individual, as well as amnesia barriers. Another way to tell the difference is that borderline personality disorder is considered one of the many results of secondary structural dissociation, meaning that they are partially fragmented. They have one self with many traumatized states that you may be able to observe in splitting behavior. A person with BPD can be emotionally unstable and have black and white thinking and a tendency to be impulsive. They have very different emotional states that are easily triggered by many things that usually include but isn't limited to interpersonal relationships and trauma experiences, which is tertiary structural dissociation. This is a result of trauma that occurs typically before the ages of 6 to 8, which obviously can occur in BPD as well, but it involves a fully fragmented experience of self, which means that they have many selves within a single body. They have a protective self, an apparently normal self for everyday tasks. Some systems have a childlike traumatized self that are stuck in the past, caregiver selves that take care of others in the head, and more. They usually have voices overlapping their thoughts that belong to these selves that are trying to communicate with them. Fun fact, while I was doing research for this video, I found the question, what is the most painful mental illness? And the results said it has long been believed that borderline personality disorder is a disorder that produces the most intense emotional pain and distress in those who have the condition. Studies have shown that borderline patients experience chronic and significant emotional suffering and mental agony. The disorders are very common within each other, which makes sense as to why they would be misdiagnosed. They have similar appearing symptoms such as identity problems, unstable affect modulation, self-destructive behaviors, chaotic impulse control, and troubled interpersonal relationships, but they have decisive differences in underlying dynamics, processes, and structure. However, the DSM tends to blur these two disorders by its emphasis on phenomenology over inner structure. This misleads conclusions when DSM criteria are used to test comorbidity or overlap between DID and BPD, which is also very common. BPD and DID have splitting in common, although it's obviously different. It is a defense mechanism that was learned in childhood. We contend that the splitting in each disorder is fundamentally different from the splitting in the other. BPD uses a polarization form of splitting, whereas DID uses ego splitting or identity division. They're also similar because both disorders partake in the process of dissociation, but it's the quality of dissociation in BPD that is quote-unquote low-tech or spaced-out type, whereas the DID is a high-tech waking dream. BPD structure is also a low-tech with polarization of self, object, and relationship. DID structure is high-tech with heavily symbolic, highly nuanced variations of self, object, and relationship. Although both conditions have etiologic elements of trauma, borderline has a larger degree of developmental deficiency with a failure to complete the task of entering a repression hierarchy of defenses, whereas DID's primary process is linked to symbolic dissociation, is able to continue development to the repression hierarchy, although at a cost of simultaneous suspension of reality testing. BPD patients suffer from rigid use of too few defenses, whereas DID patients suffer from the obsolete of too many defenses. BPD patients often grow up in homes which overtly expressed aggression that is tolerated or sometimes more openly experienced, whereas DID patients may grow up in homes in which the fact of aggression is kept a secret. This has consequences for the formation of the psychic structure in each disorder. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're feeling risky, and comment below if I missed out on anything in this video, or if I misspoke about something. I would love to correct it in the comment section below. Thank you so much to each and every one of my members. I appreciate each and every one of you every single day. Make sure to consider becoming a member. It starts at 99 cents. You get early access to my videos, you get to pick my videos, and many more other perks. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video as always, and goodbye.